And we are back today with some transfer news. Obviously, it is a daily thing, so this is obviously going to happen a lot. And we're going to start off with De Gea. This rumour refuses to go away. Apparently, Real Madrid want him that desperately. They're willing to sign him and then loan him back, possibly. The other thing is, now Man U have Mourinho, they don't have to sell him because they can attract top players. I think they would have struggled if they still had Van Gaal to attract that top level player, but apparently De Gea might stay. There's one rumour saying, yeah, Real Madrid could come in for him and get him, and then there's another one saying, well, he's quite happy to stay now that they've got Mourinho. Next up is, for me, is probably a big story. It's pretty much a done deal, apparently, and that is Jonas Hector, the left back. He's now Germany's #1 left back, and apparently Liverpool are pretty much in talks with the player personally. He's got permission to talk to other clubs from his club Cologne, because they signed the left back in January, and his agents basically come out and said, well, we got permission to talk to other clubs. So I think Liverpool may be in contact with him, and then it would be a case of agreeing a fee with his club. Next up is Jimenez, and apparently Barcelona are actually going to join the race for this guy. Apparently, I've got him as a Chelsea card here because Chelsea and Manchester City are interested in him. But apparently Barcelona are going to join that race as well. So that may shake up things there, where previously, Chelsea and Man City might have thought they had a good chance. Barcelona are apparently going to come in and partner PK with Jimenez. And obviously, born 95, so he's only 21 years old. I'm not sure how you'd see that. Oh, fair. So he's 20 years old. It's worth, obviously paying that money to get him. Next up is Ricardo Rodriguez, and he's come out with a weird one. There's no, actual rumours for him. It's more the fact of what he said. He said, he would love to play with Xhaka again. I don't know where they played with each other to begin with, but apparently they did. And, well, they're both Swiss, to be honest, but I don't know what, in terms of club level where they played. But Rodriguez came out and said, he'd love to play with him again. So that is kind of started the fire in terms of whether Arsenal will go for him or not. Next up is Pjanic, and that is apparently Mourinho's main target. Obviously, there's a lot of signings Manchester United need to make, and I think they will be pretty much predominant in a lot of episodes. They are in this one, and Pjanic is no exception. Apparently they need to sign a lot of players, get a new spine to the team, and they want to start with him. He would be a great playmaker for them, so will be a great sign. He's had a great season for Roma, and obviously they always have to balance their books, so it may see Pjanic go. Next up is Wilshere. A bit of a strange one for me. He's been injured a lot, but apparently Guardiola wants him. Obviously, it's mainly probably to do with his passing ability. Obviously, Guardiola's teams are known for their passing. Man City do need a new centre mid, so there's logic in that, but there's no chance Arsenal would sell him, and I don't think he'd want to go anyway. He's 23. There's no need for him to move at all. Next up is Redmond. And apparently Stoke City have won the race to sign him from Norwich. He's been rejecting a new deal from Norwich now and is available for 10 million. Apparently Stoke are going for him. Would that signal the end of Arnautovic? That would be the interesting one for me. Apparently Arnautovic is still on his new deal, so would be an interesting one there. Maybe a straight replacement. Redmond's a really exciting player. I don't think he deserves to go down. He's one of them that, in terms of the teams who went down, he was one player that probably should have stayed up in terms of his performances, especially towards the end of the season. That last game, he looked really good. Next up is Candreva, again going to Chelsea. Any Serie A player will automatically get linked with Chelsea now due to Conte being there, and Candreva's no exception. Obviously, his inform card looks really, really good on that, screen there. And apparently, Chelsea are rumoured to be going for him. Whether Lazio would sell or not, I don't know. They probably would. Lazio are known as a selling club. Next up is Messi. I hate these rumours. I really do because, Man U, I don't know whether they've got someone on the papers who's on their side or what, but there's always apparently a massive, massive deal that Manchester United are apparently doing, and it will never, ever come off. Last time, I think in January, was it, or the summer before, it was going for Neymar, which was never, ever going to happen. Apparently now they're organising a deal for Messi, which, again, I will state it a few times, never, ever, ever happen. I'm not being funny, but as much as I would love to see Messi in the Prem, just to build squads and Ultimate Team, it's not going to happen. So we'll blow that one out the water right now. Next up is Diafra Sakho. Apparently, West Ham are willing to sell him. He's been injured quite a lot, hasn't really featured too much. They are looking for a new striker, so apparently they're going to sell him to Sunderland. Obviously, Sam Allardyce is. Now, if they get money for him, it means they got more money to spend in terms of going for the likes of Baka and a few other players. So they're looking to strengthen West Ham big time. And last but not least, if he loads up, his face anyway, and that is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Apparently it's been confirmed he'll go to Man U. There was a rumour he'd go to Malmo, his first club, like the main Swedish club. But that's been blown out the water by Ibra himself by saying he's too big to go to Malmo. I think he's got, 1 or 2 seasons left in him. He's that type of player because he's big and strong and technically gifted. I think he can play for quite a few more years in terms of that. He doesn't really need pace. He's never been blessed with too much pace. As a card there shows team of the season, normal players would have, normal strikers would have at least 90 plus on the pace. Ibra's only goes up to 84. So a bit surprised on the physical. It should be a bit higher on that. His FIFA card is insane. But yeah, Ibrahimovic apparently going to Man U. They're probably one of the only teams that can afford him in terms of wages. Obviously, he's free, so that makes a difference, but he still demands a huge wage sum. Next up, we've got a few for the bench. We've got 1 or 2 for the bench, and we'll start off with a player going to potentially Besiktas, and that is Martin Skrtel. Obviously, his Liverpool career is pretty much over, especially after his last few performances in the team. There's been rumours that he's been meant to be going anyway. A few Turkish clubs apparently want him. And the main one that's striking out at the moment is Besiktas, especially after they had a great season last season. And a player going the other way from Besiktas to the Premier League potentially is Atiba Hutchinson. The highest rated Canadian player ever on the game, I believe. He's a centre defensive mid. He is getting on a bit, that is the only thing. I think he's 32 or 33. Apparently West Ham are going for him. Obviously Bilic managed him when he was manager of Besiktas, so he knows him well. And potentially could, I don't know whether did West Ham sign Song on permanent deal or not, I'm not too sure, but that could either potentially be like a partner for Song or a replacement. So let's have a little look in the team now. And this is what the team could potentially look like. Obviously there's only one bad link in terms of the actual team, and that's obviously if De Gea leaves. Obviously a lot of Prem teams, there's 2 on the bench there in Skrtel and Atiba Hutchinson, who could have been brought in, but this is what it looks like. Obviously a lot of Man U players linking in there, 2 Chelsea potential rumours, a few lower teams as well, Stoke and Sunderland are mixed in there, Man City, and a rumour, a very, very strong rumour with Hector apparently going to Liverpool. So if you enjoy, as always, like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next transfer news.